Keyshawn Davis versus Edwin De Los Santos is going down on Saturday. Interesting matchup. You guys know that Shakur Stevenson. So it's inevitable that people will compare how the fights played out, and let's see. There's people who actually do believe that De Los Santos can pull off the upset. Trying to set this thing up over here, man. Hold on. Y'all already know what it is, man. I'm Jay Smith. This is Box Center, your favorite boxers, favorite boxing show. Let's talk about it, my peoples. Let's talk about this whole Keyshawn Davis, Edwin De Los Santos fight, which is going down. That's it. That is this Saturday, my peoples. Um, I gotta say, you know, I am looking forward to that fight. I'm Jay Smith, man. This is Box Center, your favorite boxer's favorite boxing show. And I'm trying to tell you, that fight is going to be interesting. Um, I got Keyshawn Davis winning it. But I'm not suggesting that he's just going to wash De Los Santos or even make it look easy. Edwin De Los Santos is a fighter who can fight. Very skilled, fast hands, power, good defense, footwork. He has, a wide range of tools in his bag that he can use. So, you know, De Los Santos is not an easy fight for nobody. Nobody makes it look easy against Edwin De Los Santos. So I believe that this is going to be a competitive fight. De Los Santos is going to win some rounds and have his moments. But ultimately, Keyshawn Davis, like I said, it's about levels. I believe that he's levels above Edwin De Los Santos, and that's going to show. We're going to see it on Saturday. But I do expect, a competitive and entertaining fight. They're going to go at it. They're going to go at it, especially early on. Edwin De Los Santos is a fast starter, applies pressure, and he's going to take it to Keyshawn. Edwin De Los Santos is going to take it to Keyshawn, and we're going to have to see what type of adjustments, if necessary, or how Keyshawn Davis is going to react when De Los Santos applies that pressure. He is going to land some big shots as well. He's a good fighter, I'm telling you. For the people who have told me, oh, nah, look, De Los Santos, he's going to get washed. Keyshawn Davis going to smoke him. It's not going to go down like that. I do have Keyshawn Davis winning the fight, no doubt. No doubt. I got him winning it. Keyshawn Davis is a fighter right now who's one of the guys that's coming up that he's going to be around for a long time. He's going to accomplish a lot. He's going to win titles in multiple divisions, all that good stuff. Ozzy, I think if Keyshawn isn't on his P's and Q's like Shakur was, De Los Santos can cause some big problems. Oh, see, so that means that you recognize how good De Los Santos actually is. He can fight. So for people to just write him off like he's gonna get washed, it's not going down like that. De Los Santos is not getting washed. Now, I think we agree Keyshawn Davis is gonna win this fight. I see him winning, a competitive, tough fight that, his skills will show and he'll be able to win it. But it'll be a tough fight. Now, going past that one is Abdullah Mason and Keyshawn Davis going to happen. And the reason I say this is because the WBO has already stated that they are going to mandate Abdullah Mason versus Keyshawn Davis. So it'll be interesting to see. Will we get Abdullah Mason versus Keyshawn Davis next? after Keyshawn gets past De Los Santos? We shall see. Ozzy, Shakur got the best defense in the game, and De Los Santos made him hesitant. That is a fact. Shakur, without a doubt, got the best defensive in the game. But I think his performance versus De Los Santos was affected by the fact that he had a bad hand, and you saw it in the fight. You saw in the fight he mostly used. Wait a minute, was it the left or the right? I can't remember right now. But I know that he was hindered, or honestly, I don't remember off the top of my head if it was a hand or a shoulder. But I know that Shakur has some type of injury, and he was still able to beat a high level opponent like De Los Santos. So I think that shows the level of skills that Shakur has. Ozzy, so you got to give him big credit. He's elite. Yo, listen, De Los Santos a top level fighter. Now I got Keyshawn getting past him. I'm just wondering, are we gonna get Keyshawn Davis versus Abdullah Mason afterwards? Honestly, I would love to see that fight. Um, I feel like Abdullah Mason and his team should maybe wait a little bit longer before getting in the ring with the businessman or anybody, at that level. But if they feel like they're ready, I respect it. Abdullah Mason just turned 21 years old, like I think like a month ago or something like that. Young boy, young boy. So let's see. The WBO already said that they're gonna mandate that fight, and Abdullah Mason says that that's what he's going after. So, Ozzy, is Abdullah Mason ready for Keyshawn? Like I said, man, personally, I'm not sure. Abdullah Mason is special. Keyshawn is special, but the difference is the experience. Keyshawn Davis is more seasoned, been in there with better opponents. So if they step in the ring, Keyshawn Davis is going to be a huge step up for Abdullah Mason. So I think the experience may be the difference. I'm not sure if he's ready for that fight. But, like I said, if he and his team feel like they're ready, I'll respect that decision. Go for it. Do what y'all got to do. Dry turkey. Andy Cruz is ranked higher sanctioning body over Abdullah, but the WBO, which Key is the champion in, find that odd. I mean, what can I say? That's the way that it has played out. Because you got to remember, the mandatory is not always gonna be, for whatever reason, I don't know how that works, but it's not always gonna be the number one ranked guy. Or they might take a guy and rank him number one and make him the mandatory, but I don't know, my brother, how that system works, to be honest. Yeah, I know you meant Andy Cruz. Dry turkey, stop ducking, Key. And they actually asked Keyshawn Davis about Andy Cruz, and this is exactly what he said. That fight is going to happen. Maybe not in 2025 unless he does something big that his profile, his stock goes up, and then we do it this year. So it's probably not going to be this year, but that fight is going to happen. So Andy Cruz versus Keyshawn Davis is a fight that we're going to see, my brother. Trust me. Adam, Keyshawn versus De Los Santos is right in front of us, and it's a banger. That's what I was saying earlier, Adam. That's what I was saying earlier. For the people that were saying that, Keyshawn is just going to wash De Los Santos, he's going to make it look easy, he's going to stop him and all that. It's not going to be an easy fight. Nobody washes De Los Santos. Yeah, what do you, why do people think that De Los Santos is not a high caliber fighter? I don't understand. This guy can fight. He got power, got speed, got footwork, real good counterpuncher. Come on now. Show some respect on De Los Santos' name, my peoples. Come on now. So this is going to be a heck of a fight. It's not going to be an easy win. Ozzy, this channel is proper good. You know your boxing, bro. People going to love this. I appreciate it, Ozzy. Like I said, my brother, right now, a lot of people don't know me. They don't know about Box Center, but they will. They will. It's the inevitable. Um, Now, if Keyshawn Davis and Abdullah Mason fight this year, I'm gonna have to go with Keyshawn Davis. I think like I said, they're both special fighters. Abdullah Mason is a very special fighter. I know that he's gonna accomplish a lot of things. He's gonna win titles in multiple divisions, all that stuff. That's what I see in Abdullah Mason. But right now, at 21 years old, Keyshawn Davis will be a huge step up, and he's also special. So I think when you put two special fighters together, and one is a lot more experienced, yeah, he's gonna get that. He's gonna get that. That's how I see it. Dry Turkey, Jay Smith. You better hope Edwin De Los Santos and Nakathila look good, or Shakur will get criticized. Nah, De Los Santos is gonna look good. Even if he loses, he's gonna look good. The same with Nakathila. In fact, here's the funny thing about that, my brother. Pro Dance League. Here's the funny thing about that. If they look bad, Shakur will get shredded. Like, look, those bums and Shakur. But if they look good, if they give their opponent real tough competition, and they both lose, but they lose in real good fights, nobody's going to give Shakur credit. Watch. Nobody's going to say, ooh, damn, you see how good Shakur is? You see? Nobody's going to say that. If Edwin De Los Santos lands some big-ass bombs on Keyshawn, boom, 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 but Keyshawn beat him, nobody's going to say, damn, yo, he couldn't land those bombs on Shakur. Nobody's going to say that. So people always look for an angle to discredit or to try to hate on Shakur, but when it's the other way, they don't find that angle to give him credit. Dry Turkey, Abdullah and Keyshawn make like work of Shakur opponents. We're going to find out. We're going to see the fights. But light work, you wilding out, bro. You see, right there, you're not talking as a boxing fan. You're talking as a Shakur Stevenson hater. Because nobody makes light work of Edwin De Los Santos, bro. Nobody. What you think Edwin De Los Santos is? You think Edwin De Los Santos is a bum? He not a bum. Nobody's going to make light work of Edwin De Los Santos. That's just your hate for Shakur talking for you. Dry Turkey, I'll give Shakur credit. If that happens, Edwin and Nakathila don't have to win. Just look good. And you're going to see. They're both going to... Look, right now I'm telling you, both of them are going to look good. Both of them. They're going to look good. These are guys that can fight. Look, Edwin De Los Santos is coming off of inactivity. He hasn't been in the ring since he fought Shakur. And watch how good he's going to look. You're not going to see no ring rust. You're not going to, see him take 2-3 rounds trying to get in rhythm. Edwin De Los Santos is a guy that's about the fireworks. And you're going to see him let his hands go early. Telling you, it's not gonna be, easy work for Keyshawn Davis. I got him winning it because I feel like he is levels above as far as skills, but it's gonna take time. You're gonna have to work on De Los Santos. You're gonna have to try to break him down slowly. Simple as that. And this fight could even go the distance. If it goes the distance, Keyshawn Davis is gonna win on points. He's going to win on points. But this fight could go the distance. Angry Mexican. Subs. Sounds like T.O. Devin is signed for August. It's looking like it. Now, by the way, we talking about De Los Santos, Keyshawn Davis. And if Keyshawn Davis wins, him fighting Abdullah Mason, right? Later this year. However, there's a possibility that fight doesn't happen. And you know how? I know that Keyshawn Davis would never vacate to avoid Abdullah Mason, but he might vacate to go to 140. That can happen. So, if he struggled to make 135 on Saturday, He might even say after the fight, like, yo, I can't make 135 no more. I'm out of here. So let's see. Is he going to stay at 135 after facing De Los Santos? Or is he going to move up to 140? If he chooses to stay at 135, I believe we are going to get Keyshawn Davis versus Abdullah Mason later this year. But Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney for August, I don't think that's been confirmed. But I've been hearing that, they getting it done. I hope they do. I love that fight. I love that fight. Dry Turkey, do you believe that story about Key dropping Tio Pops? I think Tio would want that smoke. So I heard that story, but I don't know if it's true. In fact, I think I heard Shakur say that either Keyshawn or someone on the team, or just someone on the team dropped his pops. I don't know if it's been revealed that it was Keyshawn that knocked him out. And supposedly Tio was like, oh, nah, hold on, his health is not good. Like he started copping plates or something like that. But look, bro, it doesn't look like Teofimo want to fight Keyshawn Davis. Because if you think about it, Keyshawn has been calling him out for some time now. And that's an easy fight to make. They're both with top rank. Easy fight to make. So, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. It doesn't look like Teofimo want to fight Keyshawn Davis. And even if Keyshawn Davis goes to 140, Teofimo is already flirting with the welterweight division. So, they're not even going to be in the same weight class. Or it looks that way. Dry Turkey. I said once Key started shining, his friendship was going to fall apart. You can't have two chefs in the same kitchen. You mean his friendship with Shakur Stevenson? I don't know. I don't know how things are going to play out. I know that they're still close. Is that competitiveness and things that can happen make them end up wanting to fight each other? I don't know. As long as they're good friends, I don't think they'll ever fight each other. But if the friendship falls apart and it goes to a situation where they start throwing subliminals at each other on social media, or they start name dropping each other in negative ways, then it could end up in the ring. They could end up fighting each other. But as long as they're friends, I think they're too close for that to happen. And a lot of people want to see it. A lot of people want to see Keyshawn Davis and Shakur Stevenson get in the ring. But if they're friends, honestly, I believe that they shouldn't fight. If them being that close, their friendship is going to be more important than boxing. Because one day they're going to look, both of them are going to be successful. Both of them are going to make a lot of money. Both of them are going to retire millionaires. So I believe once they retire, they'll still be able to have that great friendship. They'll hang out together, do certain things together. If they throw that away for a fight against each other, down the line they might regret it. Like, damn, I don't even deal with this dude anymore. And, the whole relationship, the whole dynamics could change. So I think that the friendship between them, if they have a good relationship, is better than them trying to get a check fighting each other. Cam J Network, Jay Smith, they need to end the brotherly love shit. It's boxing. What's the deal, my brother? I understand. Like I said, man, it is boxing, but at the end of the day, they make money for it. It's a business. If they could continue to make money without fighting each other and they don't want to fight each other, I respect that. I back them. I back them for that. Angry Mexican, Loma needs to defend or vacate. I think I seen footage of Loma training recently. I don't know if it was recent footage, if it was filmed recently, because it didn't have context on the video. But I think I may have seen him training, so he may be getting ready to come back. Maybe getting ready for that. Look, Lomachenko right now has some options as far as who he's gonna fight. I don't know if he has a mandatory that he has to take care of first, but Lomachenko, I think he's 37 years old, so he's trying to get the big fights. I don't know if he wants to fight Tank Davis, and it looks like Tank is booked for the rest of the year because he's gonna fight Lamar Roach, and apparently it looks like he will be fighting Jake Paul at the end of the year. It really looks that way. Embarrassing, but it looks that way. Camp J Network, 2 champs in the same division. Someone got to move out the division and not hold the division up. Old school days. Friends fought each other. If you're a real one, you maximize the bag with your friend. My brother, but I disagree with you when you say holding up the division. They not holding up the division at all because they willing to fight anybody. So everybody in the division is able to challenge Shakur or challenge Keyshawn. If anything, they not holding up. They spreading the wealth because once you unify titles, there's less people with titles. If it's 4 champions in a division, it's more possibilities. So before they unify, if they never unify, there's more possibilities for everybody else that want a shot. How is that holding up a title, my brother? Come on now. You got to remember, if 2 fighters are champions, they're champions in different sanctioning bodies. So the people that are in my sanctioning body, they're going to be mandated to fight me. The people in yours, they're going to be mandated to fight you, whoever's ranked the highest. So they're not holding up anything by not fighting each other. Cam J Network, Loma most likely done. Murataya next up for the IBF. Yo, Murataya can fight. I like Murataya. The only thing, man, sometimes he get a little bit irresponsible with the defense and he get hit with shots that he shouldn't be hit with. By the way, they could have made Murataya versus Shakur Stevenson, but I guess he wasn't ready at the time. Let's see. Angry Mexican, do you remember when we talked about the Olympic male boxer fighting females? People tried to say it was a female, and now look, new reports have came out proving it was a biological male. So, Angry Mexican, I'm going to tell you what it is. I've done my research on it, and I'm going to tell you where the gray line is at with this athlete. So, yes, I remember first they said it was a man, and we was upset about it. Then they said, no, it was born a female. Then we were apologizing like, oh, my bad, yo, damn. And then we find out again, no, it's a man. So I'm going to tell you what it is. Based on the research that I've done, this athlete is a hermaphrodite. A hermaphrodite is a person who has visibly both sexes. But how do you know if it's a female or a male, right? Very simple. Even though the hermaphrodite has both sexes, on the inside, it doesn't have a uterus, so it can't get pregnant, and it produces sperm. So technically, it is a male. But there's a gray area because it's a hermaphrodite. So Buddy is clinging on to the look. No, I got the other thing too. I'm a woman. Nah, you'll do. You'll do. But like I said, there's a gray area that they're trying to explore to make them a female. MAW, hello boxing fans, Jay in chat, subscribe, share, smash that like button. Please, folks, what's the deal, MAW? Appreciate you dropping in. Cam J Network. What do you think about that Navarrete versus Suarez no contest and Munguia popping dirty? So look, Navarrete versus Suarez, the decision being overturned, I agree with it 100%. No contest, do the rematch, and, win fairly. I agree 100%. The referee made a mistake. He ruled it an accidental cut by elbow, was it? Or by headbutt. They ruled it an accidental headbutt, right? Once they reviewed it, they realized, no, that was a punch, and they overturned the decision, which is what they should have done with Tank Davis and Lamar Roach. Once they determined the referee made a mistake, which the New York State Athletic Commission admitted the referee made a mistake. It should have been ruled a knockdown when Tank Davis took a knee. They should have also overturned that draw into a win for Lamar Roach. So look at the difference. In this case, the referee made a mistake in Tank Davis' fight, and they left it like that. Even though they reviewed it, left it like that. In this fight with Navarrete, they reviewed it and overturned it. They made the right call. So I agree, they made the right call. And Munguia popping dirty, what I think about that? Look, man, Eddie Reynoso, at this point, he's starting to look like he's the plug. Like, I understand that, steroids is going to be a part of combat sports and people are going to pop dirty once in a while. But to me, it's a crazy coincidence that fighters related to Eddie Reynoso keep popping dirty. That's a funny coincidence. That's what I'm going to say about it. I'm not saying automatically that Eddie Reynoso is guilty, but it looks suspicious. That's for sure. Suspect. Angry Mexican, nice explanation. I appreciate it, my guy. Adam, can't believe people are sleeping in the Worley versus Honey fight Saturday. Whoever wins is a legit title contender. That's going to be a slugfest, bro. That's going to be a slugfest. You know what it is? That neither one of them is a big name in the U.S. And that's the thing, man. Like, boxing is a worldwide sport, but the U.S. is like the mecca of boxing. So if you haven't been popularized in the U.S., you don't get as much play. You're not on ESPN like that. You're not on the other channels like that. And people don't know you that much. But I am going to be, tuning in. And that's going to be a slugfest, bro. That's going to be a banger. I doubt that fight goes the distance, my brother. I doubt it. I think it's going to end in a brutal knockout. Dry turkey. Personally, I think Worley is a level above Honey. A good fight. We're gonna find out, man. I believe that they both have an opportunity to win this one. Just with the power and the aggressiveness that they both display, anyone can win this fight. Dry turkey. Do you want to see Moses Itama versus Jared Anderson? I'd like to see that fight. I said that Itama is somebody that they shouldn't rush. I like something that Frank Warren said, that they could have, pursued the title shot, but instead they chose to keep developing him. Itama, he's a special talent. He's young. I don't think they have to rush him. Jared Anderson is also young. Got his ass whooped by Bacoli. Jared Anderson versus Itama, I like that fight. I like it. Adam, agree, Dry Turkey. But Honey has a good resume already. And they can both fight, man. They can both fight. El Fantasma de Geraldo Ledén. What's the deal, my brother? Good morning. KYD. Anyone want to come in to try and play Russian roulette? This is a boxing channel, my brother. You're in the wrong place for that. Angry Mexican. It looks bad. Munguia was not confident going into the rematch with the Frenchman, so he turned to steroids. Munguia knew that another loss to a relatively unknown fighter would be disastrous. Yo, if you think about it, the overwhelming majority of us had never heard of Bruno Saras before that fight. I had seen highlights. Had never seen him in a fight other than some highlight videos of him. Huge upset. And then he tests positive for the rematch. No bueno. No bueno. No good, my peoples. Adam. Anderson could probably hang with Itama. But Coley was just way too big. But if you think about it, Jared Anderson was outboxing Bacoli. In the beginning, when he was moving, he was outboxing him. Why did he decide to go toe-to-toe with him? Blow for blow, I don't know. That was his big mistake. But if he would have stuck to that footwork and boxing, he could have outboxed him. Don't get it twisted. But, I guess he didn't know what Bakoli was about when he decided to trade shots with him. That was a horrible mistake. And Bakoli capitalized on it. And, talking about Martin Bakoli, he lost his last fight. But you got to remember, he didn't have, a proper training camp. Step in, like on days' notice. Bakoli can fight. He's a guy, that I believe is dangerous. We're going to see. We're going to see where he goes. But, like I was saying earlier, my people, when it comes to Edwin De Los Santos versus Keyshawn Davis, I'm not hating on De Los Santos. When I say Keyshawn Davis is going to win, I'm not trying to disrespect De Los Santos because I really believe he's a talented fighter. For whatever reason, we live in a day and age where fans, if you think this fighter wins, for whatever reason, the other guy's a bum. The other guy's a hype job. I had people say De Los Santos is overrated and it's a bum. It's like, what? What are you talking about? Nah, De Los Santos can fight. It's just that Keyshawn Davis is a special fighter. And that's it. That's all there is to it. But De Los Santos is a great fighter. He can fight. He's just not up there. There's levels. Even at the top, even at the highest level, there's levels up there. So, every elite fighter is not the same. There's levels amongst the elite. And De Los Santos is an elite level fighter, but Keyshawn Davis is levels above him. Simple as that. That's the simplest explanation I could put out. By the way, my peoples, Carmell Motton also fought recently. Won his fight. And I'm going to tell you what I like about that fight, which I haven't seen the whole fight. I just seen some highlights. Adam, if an NBA team was 16-2, they would be the best team in the league. That's a fact. I saw Carmell Motton fight, and I'm going to tell you why I like that fight, my peoples. Carmell, he's listed as 5 feet 4 inches. That's his height, right? And he fought a guy that's 5'10". Like, that's a huge difference. Between 5'4" and 5'10", that's a huge difference in height. So the reason I like that fight for him is because early on in his career, he gets to work on his ability to get on the inside on tall fighters. And he showed that he has been showing that. Most of his fighters are tall. He showed that he can do it effectively. Carmell looks 5'2". He looks shorter than Pitbull Cruz. I mean, I'm not sure what is the height difference between Carmell and Pitbull. I've never seen them side by side. And, the listed height of a fighter, you never know how accurate it actually is. But I know that he was fighting an opponent that was a lot taller than him. And just how effortless he's able to get on the inside and let them hands go. It's impressive to see it. There's one thing I don't like about Carmell, about the way they handling Carmell. Adam, Carmell should be on TV every fight right now. He's the best up-and-coming lightweight prospect. My brother, I was just about to say that. Let me see, it's not even dark no more. Let me turn this thing off. Let me respond to that comment, my brother. Because I was just about to say that. So, if you follow me, so my peoples, if you follow me long enough, then you know that Carmell Motton is one of my favorite young fighters. You know this. And I can tell you, I don't like the fact that most of his fights are not televised with the main card because Carmell Motton is the most important young talent right now. I'm talking about at that age, at that stage in his career, he's the most important young talent. We're talking about someone who could possibly be the future of the sport of boxing. Possibly, some of us consider him the future face of the sport. And his fights are not televised. That's like, come on now. His fights should already look. I'm gonna tell you like this: all of his fights should have been televised, even from his pro debut. All of them. I see other fighters that they could have washed his shoes, they could have shot his shoes, and they be having their fights televised. Their pro debut, their second fight, third fight televised. So Carmell Motton, I hope that they make it happen to where they start televising his fights going forward. They need to do it already. Carmell Motton, he's already showing us that he's the goods. His performances are electric. Every single one of them, whether it's a knockout or goes the distance, every time Carmell steps in the ring, we get to see something special. So they need to put him on TV already, ASAP. That's my take on that. Dante's boxing talk. Carmell is fighting different styles too. He getting good. Yo, listen, bro. Carmell, he can use the footwork and move around. He can fight you inside of the. Yo, he's gonna develop into the type of fighter that can beat your ass inside of a phone booth, beat your ass in a football field, however you want to do it, long range, mid range, inside. He's gonna beat your ass. He's gonna be, and his defense is getting better. Yo, Carmell Motton, man, they need to start televising his fights. They need to. Angry Mexican. WBA put Jamal ranked number 2. Who you want him to fight next? I gotta say, man, look, I feel like he deserves it because you gotta remember he didn't lose his title in the ring. He lost it to inactivity. Came back, won. He needed to be ranked at a high spot. Who should he fight next? I mean, there's a lot of options. I would say I like him versus Bronco Adames. But Adames is the champion at 160. But I like him and Adames. I like that fight. I mean, he is at 160, right? Is he at 160 or 168? Did he fight his fight? This tune-up fight, was it at 160 or 168 for Charlo? But I like him and Adames. That's who I like. Angry Mexican. Who has the higher upside, Abdullah or Carmell? Ooh, that's a tough question. That's a tough question. Um, okay, Jermo at 168. Um, it's hard for me to answer that question, my brother, because Abdullah Mason is a very special fighter. Carmell Motton is also a very special fighter. So I can tell you that both of them are going to be major players in the sport of boxing at the same time. They're not going to be fighting in the same weight class. I don't know if they'll ever fight each other, simply because I think that Abdullah, because he is taller, he's going to end up having to move up in weight, and he's going to end up fighting in higher weight divisions than Carmell. Even though, and I'm saying this, it's a tough assumption on my part, because remember, his last fight, Carmell weighed like 138 pounds. So, and Abdullah Mason actually weighed less than Carmell Motton in his fight, because he made the 135 limit. So I don't know what weight class Carmell Motton is gonna officially stay in, because to me he's a 126 pounder. So let's see how they're gonna go about doing that. But I honestly, I have a hard time telling you who has the higher upside of Abdullah and Carmell. I just know that they're both gonna accomplish a lot. I can tell you that for sure. Adam, it's funny that someone mentioned and put up because I would lie to see that fight next. Why not go for their big money early? It's a career. Oh, Carmell and Pitbull. Listen, Carmell and Pitbull. That will be an interesting fight. Is Carmell ready for a Pitbull Cruz this early in his career? You know what, Carmell? I think is he 19 years old right now? I think at his age, I don't think it's fair to put him against a Pitbull Cruz, honestly. But if they believe that he can beat Pitbull, go for it. But I don't think it's fair. Plus, it's like I said, I don't think Carmell, officially fights at 135. I think that was more of a catch weight between him and his opponent. But I don't think that's going to be his weight class where he's going to pursue a title or anything like that. Let's see. Let's see how it plays out. Um, I want to see where Carmell is going to try to pursue a title shot. Angry Mexican, Carmell and Pitbull not getting on any roller coaster anytime soon. Carmell actually still 18. Nah, I don't think so. I don't think he's 18. Let me see. Carmell Motton age. Because y'all know my peoples. Oh, yeah, you're right, my brother. He's still 18. Carmell Motton's still 18 years old. I like to my peoples. I'm a guy that works with the facts. Nah, my brother, look. Yeah, angry Mexican. I see you delete that. You could have just said, oh, my bad, yeah, he's 18. I see you saying he 19 or 20. Don't delete that. um, but yeah, Carmell, he's only 18 years old. I don't think that you put him in there with a Pitbull Cruz this early, in his career. There's a lot of time. That's what I'm saying. There's a couple year difference between Carmell and Abdullah, who just turned 21. You're talking about 3 years. So Abdullah obviously is gonna, get title shots first and accomplish things first. And I don't think that they're gonna end up fighting in the same weight class because Abdullah Mason is taller, and he's gonna grow his body. He's gonna end up having to move up in weight sooner than Carmell. So I don't know if we'll ever get to see Abdullah Mason versus Carmell. One fight that I think that we can see in the future that is possible. Carmell Motton versus Naoya Inoue. That's a fight that we could see. Because Naoya Inoue moves up to 126. If he moves up to 126, which he will soon, he's going to stick around that division for a long time. He's going to stick around that division for a long time. And guess what? That'll give time to Carmell for a couple years develop and circle back and challenge Naoya Inoue. If Naoya Inoue stays unbeaten for the next 3 years, 4 years, at 22 years old, Carmell Motton could challenge him for that title at 126. And that would be a huge fight. But, here's the but. Bam Rodriguez might actually move up and challenge the monster before Carmell could get to him. So, those are two fights, down the line that we could see for the monster. Carmell Motton or Bam Rodriguez. Angry Mexican, Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez have each signed a contract to fight August 16 in Saudi Arabia, and an official with knowledge of the negotiation told Boxing Scene on Monday. Angry Mexican, Tank versus Roach is on the same day. Whoa, that's crazy. I hate the fact that both of those cards are going to be on the same day, but it's business. They got to do what they got to do. I told people, man, Devin Haney versus Teofimo Lopez is not going to be a boring fight. If you remember Lomachenko versus Haney, that was action-packed. Action-packed. Why? Because Lomachenko pressed the action, and Devin had to respond. So it was action-packed. Teofimo Lopez versus Devin is going to be the same thing. Teo's going to press the action, Devin is going to respond, and it's going to be action-packed, competitive, fun to watch type of fight. Tank versus Roach 2, I already told y'all, my peoples, Lamar Roach is going to beat Tank Davis. He's going to beat him more convincingly than he beat him the first time. I already told y'all. I made that clear. Angry Mexican, I'm excited for that day. Devin Teo fight card should be over by Tank, hopefully. It better be. But because it's going to be in Saudi Arabia, the time differences, we'll be able to watch both cards, hopefully. You picking Roach in the rematch? Whoa, yes. I am picking Lamont Roach on the rematch. Based on that first fight, I feel like he has the skills to outbox Tank Davis. He did outbox Tank Davis in that first fight. It didn't go the distance because he was running or because he was trying to survive. He took it to Tank Davis for 12 rounds. Frustrated him, had him acting out of character. So, I see him winning the next one. Yoda, why didn't Teo press the action in his last fight? I don't know, my brother, why he didn't press the action. But I think in his last fight, Teo showed that he's versatile. Versatility. You don't have to win every fight the same way. Teo can fight you inside of a phone booth. He can fight you in a football field and still beat your ass. So that was a good win for him. He knows he was fighting against a guy that wanted to just stand there and bang with him. He chose to box him. Adam, Tank has too much pressure on him. Roach has the mental advantage. Like I told everybody before, this rematch, Tank is the one that needs it. Lamar Roach didn't need this rematch. He already did the damage. He already, went the distance and to a lot of people beat Tank Davis. He did the damage. Tank Davis needed this rematch to do damage control. Can he win? Look, let me tell y'all something. To make sure y'all understand that I mean this. Tank Davis is a special fighter. Tank Davis special. I'm not a Tank Davis hater. He is a special fighter. One of the best of this era. But Lamar Roach is also special. Don't get it twisted. So, if Tank Davis is able to make the right adjustments and he wins, I wouldn't be surprised. The guy's special. But based on the 12 rounds of action that I saw in that first fight, I got Lamar Roach winning the rematch. I feel like he can outbox Tank Davis. Angry Mexican, Barboza is a solid boxer. Of course. And Barboza can fight, but he got power. He's going in there with bad intentions. He's going to be aggressive. So Teofimo Lopez could have been involved in a slugfest. And won the slugfest, but walked out of there, eyes swelled up, jaw looking like a Ninja Turtle, lumped up, with a suspension for 6 months because he took a beating and he got a heel. Instead, he walked out of there clean. So, I like that when a fighter can show you that he can do it on the inside, but he can also use the footwork and do it on the outside. That type of versatility, I like it. If you can only bang or you only box, then I might have a different opinion. Because wait a minute, I want to see versatility. I want to see when things change, how do you react? Dry turkey. Matias stops Suello and will KO Teo if he doesn't duck like the last time. Uh, Honestly, I don't think Teofimo Lopez ducked Subriel Matias. I think it was more of a him trying to get a bigger fight, a bigger name, a bigger, bigger pay, a higher profile fight. You got to remember, Subriel Matias lost, and after he lost, his stock went down. The guy that Subriel Matias lost to, Teofimo beat his ass. Teofimo beat Josh Taylor ass. So, come on now. Come on now. Show some respect for Teofimo Lopez, my brother. Now, Subriel Matias, he can fight. He can fight. But Subriel has one problem and one weakness. He takes way too much punishment. And his defense is very flawed. That's why I don't see him beating Teofimo Lopez. Subriel Matias relies a lot on his punching power. He lost to Liam Parro. My bad, bro. Yeah, my bad. He lost to Liam Parro. So that's the thing, man. Subriel Matias, even though he lost to Liam Parro, but if you look before that versus Ergashev, and you see a couple of his fights where he took a lot of punishment and it looked like he was going to lose. And then he just came back, landing his power punches and doing what he does. But, Subriel Matias, he can fight, but his defense is flawed. It's flawed. Now, does he beat Puello? I think he could win that fight. It's going to be a good fight. Don't get it twisted. Puello can box. Alberto Puello can box. So, let me tell you what. If Alberto Puello versus Subriel Matias goes the distance, Subriel could lose on the cards. He can lose on the cards. Because, you predicted a knockout, right? Okay. If it goes the distance, he can lose on the cards, my brother. Alberto Puello is a guy that he's going to have the height and reach advantage. But, he got good hand speed, good footwork, good movement. He's not just going to stand there and bang. That's the thing. Subriel Matias need opponents that are going to cooperate with him. He need guys that are going to stand there and bang with him. But if they're going to use that footwork, that movement, he could be in trouble. Could be in trouble. Walk it like I talk it. Who do you got? Fundora versus Zoo. Whoa. Look, I know that a lot of people are already giving up on Tim Tszyu because of his losses. I'm not. I'm going to remind y'all that Tim Tszyu was actually winning the fight before he got cut. He was beating Fundora before he got that cut. Blood started going all in his eyes, and it all went downhill from there. So, who do I have? It's hard for me to say, man, because Fundora, honestly, he's one of my favorite fighters. Tim Tszyu is one of my favorite fighters. So it's hard for me to say, man, because I don't want to go against either guy. Angry Mexican, both white guys, so pretty close. I was shocked Matias lost. Lost money on that. I wasn't shocked. I was actually calling that fight, and I told people, I try to tell people, this guy can fight. You saw it. You saw how it played out. I told people that could happen. I was like, yo, this guy can beat him, can outbox him. Angry Mexican. Look what Puello did to Gary Antoine. Yo, look, I think Alberto Puello is a guy who, he's just not a big star. He's not a famous guy, but his boxing skills are up there. His boxing skills, his his ring IQ, ring generalship, the way he moves around, the way he sets you up, his counter punching ability, Alberto Puello can fight. It's like I said, man, there's fighters out there who can fight that they're just not a big star. They're not a big name. So if you're not a big star like that, people kind of underestimate you. Yoda, how you score fights, bro? Because you say you had Plant winning 5 rounds the other day. No, to be honest, that was more of like an estimate. I didn't have him winning 5 rounds consecutive. It was more of during the... When was it that he got hurt? Did he get clipped in round number 5 or round number 6? Can you remind me that? When he got buckled? If I'm not mistaken, it was round number 5 or round number 6. So what I really meant is that before that, I had him winning most of the rounds. So during the first 5 rounds, if he got hurt in the 5th, right, got buckled, during the first 5 rounds, I had him winning 3 of those during the first 5. And then after he got hurt, that's it. It all went downhill. He didn't have no pop behind his punches. He was slower. The footwork wasn't the same anymore. I promise you, he never recovered after he got hurt. Never recovered. So I'm giving you more of an estimate. Before, when I used to host fights with other people, I would score it on paper. Like, I like to do it old school. Like, literally a pencil, a paper, and I'm scoring it on paper. But now that I'm calling the fight, doing commentary, it's too hard to do that. I can't, be doing the commentary and focusing on doing a scorecard and shit. I'm calling the action. So that's the reason why I no longer score it like that. I kind of go by giving you an estimate what I'm seeing. Walker like I talking. Thanks for your opinion. I'm rooting for Tim, and yeah, he was winning the fight before he got cut, so it makes it that much more interesting. Of course, that's a very interesting fight, and I tell you, man, I'm an old school boxing fan. Just because a guy loses his fight doesn't mean that I already think that he's a hype job or that he's not that good or that he's a bum or nothing crazy like that. To me, Tim Tszyu still a top level fighter, and I still believe that he can become a world champion. I'm a believer in Tim Tszyu. I follow his father, Costa Tszyu, who I lost money. Listen, I don't bet all the time. Most of the time I bet I win. And at that time, I hadn't even lost a bet yet. And I remember that was the first bet that I lost on the championship fight. I put money on Zab Judah to beat Costa Tszyu. Because I felt like Costa Tszyu, all he had was power. I like, look, man, all this guy got is power. He can't box like that. Zab is going to eat him up. And if you watch the fight, you know how it played out. Brutal knockout from Costa Tszyu. The rest was history. So I became a fan of his, and I started watching him. And what I realized is that Costa Tszyu had a style of boxing that was, I would describe it plain. Not flashy. And for that reason, it almost looked like he wasn't as good as he actually was. Very straightforward guy, pulling at you, 1-2 real hard, 1-2, 1-2-3, getting on this side, bam, bam, 1-2 again, pulling, like a style where you don't see nothing flashy about it, no flashy movement, no, none of that. And I realized that style is just straightforward but very effective. And Costa Tszyu was a special fighter. And I see that in Tim Tszyu, bro. He has that same style. If you watch the way he jabs, the way he throws the 1-2, the way he throws the lead right hand, the footwork, the movement, he looks like his father, a carbon copy. The only difference between Tim Tszyu and Costa Tszyu is that Costa fought at 140, so he was a lot faster. You could see the difference in hand speed. Pop Dukes was the faster one in the ring. But as far as the style goes and the offensive approach, the way they apply pressure, They look identical. That's why I'm a believer in Tim Tszyu. Walking like I talking. Maybe you can win it back if you bet on Tim. I don't know if I'm gonna bet on that fight, man, because like I said, I like Tim Tszyu and I like Sebastian Fundora. Like those are both are my guys. Yoda, Charlo versus I'm Billy, and Billy should be next. Winner fight Canelo. Whoa. I mean, we got to see what's going to happen with Canelo after he fight Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford beats Canelo, he might retire after that. Plus, Terence Crawford beats Canelo, he's not going to be the champion, so they're not going to challenge him. I mean, they could challenge him, but Crawford is going to be the undisputed champion at 168. Yo, walking like I talk it, Zab was winning the fight until he got KO'd. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Zab was without a doubt outboxing him. But Costa Azul, man, he was timing him, and he finally caught him with that right hand. That changed everything. But I'm going to tell you what, and this is something that I've always thought about when that fight comes up. Zab could have still won that fight, in my opinion. I felt like, we saw it. When Zab got dropped, he got up too fast. You know, he's not used to visiting the canvas. Got up real fast. And that's what made him lose his balance and fall again and made the referee stop it. When he got dropped, I believe if he would have took a knee and stood on that knee for those first 7 seconds and then got up, he would have been good. Why? Because the referee would have allowed the fight to continue and the bell would have rang right there. The round would have been over. The round was about to finish. The round would have been over and he would have had a whole minute to recover and regroup. But sometimes when you get hurt, you don't even realize that you're hurt. That's the thing about it. Look, let me tell you something, guys, about getting hurt in the ring. And now I'm about to tell you something, not that I saw on TV or that I saw in a highlight video. I'm going to tell you something that I experienced myself when I fought in my professional debut. Check out what I experienced. 10 seconds to go in the fight. 10 seconds to go. I hear the 10-second marker, right? Now, I'm getting close to my opponent, but for some reason in my head, the fight is finishing because I'm here the 10 seconds. The fight is about to finish, right? I'm getting closer. So for whatever reason, you know, maybe I lost concentration, I don't know what. In my head, the fight was going to finish and we wasn't going to throw another punch because I already heard it was 10 seconds left. While I was in front of my opponent, he called me with a big shot, yo. I'm walking him down because I'm thinking if I catch him, I'm going to land a couple of shots, but the bell is about to go off. And as I'm walking him down, my peoples, he caught me with a lead right hand. Boom! Caught me hard. Now, I could have ate that shot, but you know why he hurt me? Because I was already, my body wasn't waiting for it. I was already relaxed, thinking that the bell was going to go off. So when he hit me, it actually snapped my neck back. Boom! Guess what? He threw another right hand right there, and I saw the right hand. I saw it coming. And I went like this with my hands, my peoples. Boom! The right hand hit me and dropped me. With 1 second to go, yo, he dropped me. I got back up, you know, standing 8 count. But when the fight was allowed to continue, it was over right there. The bell rang. So the fight was over. But what I'm trying to show you, my people, is that first shot hurt me and I didn't realize I was hurt. When the second shot came, I tried to block it, but my arms was jelly. Both of my arms was jelly. So I went like this, but I didn't actually block the punch. Instead, I just put my arms in front of me. So his right hand just went right through, like it was through the front door of my living room. Boom, and caught me. So that's what happened, I believe, with Zach. When he got hit with that punch, he got hurt, but he didn't realize how hurt he was. So he just jumped right back up on his feet. His legs was jelly. And I know I felt the same sensation because when I got hit, my arms was jelly. That second punch, I saw it coming, but I couldn't block it. I just went like this, but my arms wasn't there. My arms didn't have the strength to actually block it. 5'9" Leon, damn. Bull Princess, so you lost? Yup, I lost that fight. I only had just, I don't know if you've seen the video. I only had one professional fight when I was 44 years old. So just to give you a quick recap, I was an amateur boxer, went to the New York City Golden Gloves, made it to the semifinals, lost, and I ended up getting out of boxing when I was young. I was only 19 when I got out of boxing. Wanted to turn professional, but, started messing up, messing with girls, went to work, and that's it. Boxing, I left it as a dream. And when I was 44 years old, I met a promoter, and I wanted to fight. I was like, damn, I don't want to become, old man, and I mean like 60, 70 years old and say, damn, I never fought professionally, and I always wanted to. I didn't want to have that regret. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to fight. I spoke to a friend of mine who is a promoter. I mean, not a friend. He was a trainer in a gym that I used to train in. And we cool. He's cool with me. So I hit him up. I was like, yo, I want to fight, bro. I need to fight. I can't become, an old man without ever stepping in the ring as a professional. And, he helped me out, got my boxing license, and got it done. Fought professionally at 44 years old. I ended up fighting a guy that was 37 years old. So we're talking about 9 years. No, he was 35 years old. So 9 years younger than me, bigger than me, longer reach, stronger. And I dropped him too. In the third round, I dropped him. Landed a big right hand, boom, dropped him. So, I lost that fight, but I wouldn't take it back. The experience of fighting as a professional, it was televised and everything. By the way, the video is up. You can see it in this same channel. I posted the video of the fight. If you go to the videos, it's like the fourth video. You scroll down. I posted it recently, so you'll be able to find it real quick. 5'9" Leon. Some of the best amateur fighters I have ever watched never turn pro. Sometimes it's like that. It happens. It happens. Jamie Giblin, good shit, bro. Appreciate it, my guy. Jatique Smith, let's box. Jump in a plane and come to Dominican Republic. Bull Princess, cool. 5'9" Leon. Andrew Ward got dropped in his first pro fight, but he got up and won. And Bernard Hopkins. Bernard Hopkins lost his pro debut. And you saw how his career played out. Hall of Famer and all-time great. Walker like I talk, respect any man that's willing to jump in the ring. And look, I tell you, jumping in the ring as a professional fighter gave me an experience that I would never give back. Like I can tell you, when we talk about boxing contracts, now I've seen a boxing contract. I signed a boxing contract myself for a fight. So you can't tell me otherwise. Like, my contract didn't have as many zeros. It didn't have, as many clauses as the one for, a star. But the main talking points of a contract, it has it. So I got to read it. And you really are putting your life on the line every time you step in the ring. Like, you get to see in the contract, like, yo, if I get hurt, if I die in the ring, I can't sue anybody. My family's not going to take legal action on anybody. You make that clear, that you understand that you could die in the ring. So, you signing your life away if anything happens. So, the experience I got to see what a contract looked like. I signed the contract. I got to see what it feels like to be in a training camp for a professional fight what it is to, be backstage and they come call your name. You already know your fight is gonna come up. What it is when they call you to when you make that ring walk, and you're looking at this whole crowd. They're all there to watch you fight. When you step in the ring and your opponent first lay eyes on each other, you know we're there to fight. And the thing is, professional boxing is different than amateur boxing, because amateur boxing, you know that you're there to score points, right? And in the pros, you're there to score points too, because every fight is not going to end by knockout. Fights go the distance all the time. But you know what's the difference? This is the first time that I got to fight without a headgear. I know that some amateurs fight without a headgear too, but we're talking about at the professional level. You get to fight with a headgear, and when you start trading leather, you realize, like, you already knew it coming in, but there's a moment that it hit you. Yo, we here to hurt each other. You already knew in training camp y'all was gonna hurt each other. But when you step in the ring with a guy with no headgear and y'all throwing hands, it's a whole different feeling, my peoples. A whole different feeling. Bull Princess, so do amateurs not have contracts? No. Amateurs do have to sign documents, but in reality, it's not a contract. They sign documents about, if they get hurt or anything like that. When you enter a tournament, like let's say you're entering the Golden Gloves. When you enter the gloves, you're gonna sign a document that's gonna say, if you get hurt, you cannot take legal action against the Golden Glove or anybody. But you don't sign a contract to get paid. Amateur fighters don't get paid. It's not like boxing. Like boxing professionally. When you boxing professionally, your contract is gonna have stipulations about how much money you're gonna get paid for that fight. That doesn't happen in the amateurs. Five Line Leon, yeah, you're not gonna get a big contract when you turn pro unless you're coming off of the Olympic team or a top ranked amateur with a lot of fights. Most first contracts are 200 around, 4 round, around 800. Less you're a top ranked guy with an impressive resume. Yeah, if you have star power, if you're famous or something like that, even if you're a YouTuber, a very famous YouTuber, your pro debut, you can make a lot of money because you're gonna have, fill up a place where you're gonna fight at, wherever it is. It's the circumstances. But if you're not famous, if you're just turning pro, you're not gonna make a lot of money. But the amount of money that you're gonna make is gonna be stipulated in your contract. Five Line Leon, they can sign sponsors and stuff, but yeah, gotta sign waivers. David, just a medical card for the amateurs in the UK. Bull Princess, I see. Five Line Leon, nope, they can't get paid. They can only receive pay for travel, hotels, and new boxing equipment. No cash for fight as amateur. Bull Princess, yeah, they don't get paid. Amateurs fight for free. Bull Princess, what do you think about Jake Paul or Logan Paul? They're YouTubers. Five Line Leon, yup, that's facts. Um, I gotta say, when it comes to amateur boxing, you don't make money, but that's where you get developed. That's where you get to find out if you're gonna be a champion or if you don't have what it takes. That's why it's important to have an amateur career, and that amateur pedigree says a lot. If you look at many of the all-time greats, had an amazing amateur career. It's only a few great fighters who barely fought as amateurs and became great fighters anyways. That doesn't happen often. You could name a few people. Deontay Wilder, for example, made it all the way to heavyweight world champion with a short amateur career, but he accomplished. He won a medal in the Olympics. But he had a very short run as an amateur, right? But if you look at George Foreman, Olympic gold medalist. Muhammad Ali, Olympic gold medalist. Sugar Ray Leonard, Olympic gold medalist. Evander Holyfield, Olympic gold medalist. Come on now. Marvelous Marvin Hagler, Olympic gold medalist. Floyd Mayweather, Olympic silver medalist. Shakur Stevenson, Olympic silver medalist. Oscar De La Hoya, Olympic gold medalist. So come on now. Mike Tyson, great fighter. He's retired, but he's a great fighter. He didn't make it to the Olympics. So when you look at the all-time greats, a lot of them are either Olympic medalists, and even if they didn't win or go to the Olympics, when you look at the resume, they won at the amateur level a bunch of tournaments, national and international. David, I know for if you're picked for the elite Welsh amateur squad in the UK, you get a salary, 25,000 a year. Yeah, in some countries they do that. But you're not getting paid for amateur fights, like per amateur fights. That's your country, your government that's doing something like that. There's a lot of countries that they do that, that they give certain type of benefits to their best amateur boxers. Here in the Dominican Republic, the amateur boxers who win an Olympic medal, they get an apartment or they get a house. They get, a high-ranking job with the military if they want to. And they got a salary too. So there's different programs that they have, but for the fights themselves as amateurs, nobody gets paid. In reality, when you're on the elite team, right, you're getting a salary for your talent, not for the fights. Five Line Leon, I think Shakur had an international record of 23-2. That's just his fights outside of the U.S. And that second loss came in the Olympics. Yeah, Shakur Stevenson, he was almost unbeatable as an amateur. He was almost unbeatable. That's why he was crying like that when he lost in the Olympics, because he wasn't used to losing. He wasn't used to it. Bull Princess, he was a backup Olympic fighter. It's called an alternate, but he was an alternate because he lost in the Olympic trials. David, no, I get that, brother. Five Line Leon, most fighters outside the United States will never turn pro because long as they fight for the country, they get free living, probably eat good, get chefs, and health benefits like the kid. So I wouldn't say that's the case with most, because remember, Five Line Leon, the benefits that you're talking about, that's for the elites that's in the team. Usually, 10 fighters, 12 fighters, 16, whatever the amount of the fighters on that team. But then there's fighters in the country who didn't make the team that are really good. Sometimes fighters who don't make the team are better than fighters who are on the team. But they got maybe discipline issues. They, be getting in trouble in the streets, getting arrested, drinking, doing things that they're not supposed to, so they don't make the team. But they're better than some of the guys on the team, and sometimes they end up having a better professional career. KYD, we're playing hot potato. Want to play Russian roulette? We'll play another day, my brother. This is the wrong channel. We talking boxing. Five Line Leon, beat Shakur. Bet Shakur fought in the Olympics like 3 times. Yeah. Nah, Shakur only fought in the Olympics once, my brother. He fought. I mean, you mean how many fighters he faced to get to the finals in the same Olympics? Because he made it to the finals, so he fought multiple opponents that he beat to make it to the finals. Or the guy that beat Shakur. Come on now, bro. Robesi. But look in the professional field. Shakur is having a better career than Robesi. And I don't think that we'll ever get to see Shakur versus Robesi in the pros. I don't think so. Jamie Giblin, I want to see you box, bro. My video is up. You can see my fight. I posted it in this same channel. Go to the videos, and it's going to be like the 3rd or 4th when you scroll down. It's right there. You'll be able to find it. So you'll be able to see my pro debut. Next month, I might be in an exhibition fight. You know what I'm saying? It's an exhibition, but you know what it is. People going to throw leather. So let's see if we can make this exhibition happen for next month, man. I would love to do it. Step in the ring, trade leather. 5'9" Leon fought in the Olympics like 3 times. Robesi Ramirez. Yeah, my brother. Bull Princess. So you don't think the Pauls can fight? Well, one of them two, Logan Paul, he can't really fight. He hasn't really done anything in boxing. Jake Paul, he can fight. He just not very talented. You know, he can fight at a low level. He can beat retired fighters, old fighters, washed up fighters, non-fighters. But neither one of them will ever be elite. Neither one of them will ever be a champion. They're boxers because they have popularity and they could bring a fan base and make money. But as far as talent, if Jake Paul wasn't a famous YouTuber, he would have never even made it to TV. We would have never heard of him. But I was talking about Robesi Ramirez and Shakur Stevenson in the professionals. I don't think they'll ever fight each other because Shakur is going to keep moving up. Shakur's going to keep moving up. And Robesi, he's a smaller guy. He's like, I think Robesi is like 5'5", 5'4". So I don't think he's going to keep moving up. He's going to stay right there and play out his career. You know, I don't think Robesi will ever go above maybe 135. Maybe he'll go to 135. But I wouldn't be surprised if he stays at 130. Jamie Giblin, mean brother. Who we talking about, my guy? Who's the mean brother? Shakur? So, my peoples, I'm about to end this live. Before I do, I want to thank everybody who came through. Jamie Giblin, 5'9" Leon, Bull Princess, KYD, David, and just everybody else who came through to talk about boxing. Y'all already know what it is, my peoples. I'm Jay Smith. This is Box Center. This is your favorite boxer's favorite boxing show. I'm going to be live again tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Yo, don't forget to tune in, man. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, we're going to be talking boxing, my peoples. We're going to be doing what we do. I'm going to see y'all later. Salute, peace, and one love. I'm out of here, my people.